In this segment, we're going to cover the finance and auto billing menu. Here on the left, we push the button and we are provided with the eChamber Finance menu. At the top, we can set our financial accounts. These are our bank accounts. And you can log or record a transfer of funds between accounts if you want with this function right here. And the first one always defaults to the checking and must remain the checking. Then you have all of these accounts up to 8 that you can name anything you want. And if you want to view the history of the account in case it changed, that's what that is. Transfer of funds, you can transfer it from one account. Here you're recording. It does not interface with your actual bank account. Then of course we have our chart of accounts. And this takes a couple of seconds to load because it's going out and getting all the data from all time. And here's our current master chart of accounts. We have a master, and then a master, like for example, take chamber folders here. You can also have a related expense account for showing on reports, so you can compare one to the other. But you can have sub-accounts, and you can view the sub-accounts. Now, what is often the case is the sub-accounts are identical to the master account. But like membership income, you might want to say you might have sub-accounts of new members, renewing members, that type of thing. But it's a way of tracking the money that comes in if you want to use the invoicing. And again, you don't have to use the whole finance. You may just want to use the invoicing so you can know what each member has paid the chamber, or you can even use the checking account. But by then you might as well just go ahead and do the reconcile for each month. But there's a lot of nice things. You can have a trial balance report here to see how you're doing throughout the year. You can just view current, budgeted, whatever, your current accounts, because you can turn them off if you don't want them to show up. It is the sub-accounts. If I look at the sub-accounts again, I can view all sub-accounts if I want. And there are a lot of different options. Green buttons, again, are typically reports. But I can look at all the sub-accounts. Sub-accounts is what shows up in invoicing. When you're invoicing somebody some money, what bucket do you want to put that money in when it comes in? Then, of course, you can create and view budgets. And in this case, you can look at the budget detail or create a new one for 2021. In this case, in this sample, we haven't really done a budget since 2014. But again, the budget detail will take a couple of seconds to load. As it goes out and gets all the information. And then we can actually see, our master accounts here, and what we budgeted and what it is this year so far, and what it was last year, to see how we're comparing. We have a lot of buttons you can look at. You can view a spreadsheet by month. You can actually do sub-account budgeting, and sub-account budgeting for just a selected master. So sub-account budgeting is going to list all the sub-accounts, and it'll say comments, no money's current year, but it'll actually show you each month where all the money is coming from or going to. There's lots of exports, lots of reports. And of course you can copy a budget, and then say you got 2021 and mid-year you got to change your budget. Maybe you're getting a lot more money than you thought and you're going to put something someplace else. You can do 2021-A, or you can delete a budget. And of course we have a general journal. That's like when you've already reconciled an account and you want to transfer this income from this account to this account, and that comes in when you're looking at your profit and loss reports. There's an alert and reminder if you use that, if that's set up. But the general finance, you can view your registers. These up to 10 bank accounts, and I can look at checking, and with the checking account it'll tell me exactly what my balance is at that time. It'll tell me where all my money is coming in and where it's going out. sure, I can manually put in a deposit here if I wanted to, and I can manually put in a check number or whatnot. I do not have to use enter check, pay bill, print check, that kind of thing. Then, you can preview past reconcile reports, unclear transactions. So perhaps you can see that, if you wanted to use the finance in here, you really don't need QuickBooks and Peachtree for a small to mid-sized chamber. This has been fine for the chambers that do use the full thing. It's fine with their accountants. Now, here we can edit an invoice in the general finance, or we can enter bills. We can open invoices. We can pay bills. We can view paid invoices and delete a payment if we have to, or we can print checks. Now, if we have an open invoice, and we'll actually get into this, we can receive the payment. When you receive the payment, then that ends up in make deposits. Make deposits, I'm going to deposit into checking, or whatever account was selected. These are waiting to go to the bank, and you can just click them, and we will show that in more detail in another video. And then I didn't set anything. So a lot of capabilities, very straightforward, very simple to use. Then we have payroll, but a lot of people just enter their payroll. If they're going to do that, they enter it in the register and they ask their accountant what do they owe the federal government or the state government or whatever. So not too many people use these functions right here, but they're there if you want to use them. And of course, payroll tax liabilities, you can set those up. Sales tax, if you have that, and federal state tax set up. But here's the interesting one, and one that can save a huge amount of time, is periodically, a lot of chambers do this once a time a year, a lot of chambers do it every month, because they bill when the member joined. So in this case, let's say I want to invoice all the way through September of 2021. Well, I just have to set the number of days forward. So this way you're not fixed on having to create the invoices on a certain day of the month. It's very, very adjustable, and I want to go through at least the end of September. And in that case, I would add 9 to 56, which would be 65. And sure enough, when I do 65, it's going to create if next due is less than or equal to 9/30. And I want to include the date range on the invoice, and the last date we did this was on July 6th. So I click auto invoicing. The first step is it is going to go through and find potential problems. But like this advanced business solution, it's got $0 and doesn't have, and it's got a next due that's older than 6 months. That's because they're compensated. So that's fine. So you just review these, and if you find you got something here, now here's an individual, but they get a 100% discount. So that's fine. You go down and you just want to make sure, now here's an individual at 60%, next due is greater than 1 year. Why are they 8/25/2022? Did they pay early? You can click edit member and find out. But say everything's okay here, so you correct any issues you got, and you continue with auto invoicing. And hopefully you can see how fast this is to create a bunch of invoices. And sure enough, I have 25 people due before 9/30/2021. I can assign miscellaneous, or I can apply a credit if I want to. Most of the time you do not. It tells you what the base dues is. It doesn't add, they may have a picture or something like that. So anyway, it just tells you who's due. And so everything's okay. And notice there are 25, so we continue with our auto invoicing. Once the hourglass goes off, we have just created 25 invoices. I can go to open invoices and receive payment, and there those 25 are, right here. And notice the date that they were created was all on 27 July. Okay? And, one thing that we have 28 here. That's because we do have repeats. There is a capability for repeating invoices, and we'll cover that in another segment with the invoicing. Anyway, now let's say we want to mail those out. Now one thing, if you do want to email these, so say somebody, mail preference has an email, here you have to do that because unless you can export and go to a Microsoft Word and merge to email on your own and see export for merge. But I'm just going to select the message here and say OK. And again, this is your custom invoices. We change this to your desire, and your logo would be here. But here I could PDF and email this to somebody. But now if I just wanted to print them out, and I can simply go down here to print invoices batch. And this, notice, says open date. Open date was today, 7/27. That's when we created them, not when they're due. So now it's only going to, and I can select the message desired, it's only going to print those 28 that were created, the 25 regular and then the 3 repeat invoices. And I can print them out, fold them up, and send them off. And we did that in a matter of seconds, really a minute or two. Then of course you can always print invoices by due date. And this here, then select the message here and say I want to get some from past due, so I might want to go give me 1/1/21 to 5/31/21, and I'm going to continue on that. Here I might have went, put a past due message, but these here have not been paid yet, and they are past due. And you might want to, in open invoices, receive payments, notice there is an age here, and you can actually do a sort age descending. These are 300, if they haven't paid you in almost a half a year, I doubt they're going to pay that money. You got to ask yourself that, but it helps you find out who you have to call and say, hey, what's going on, and hopefully they won't leave the chamber. Then of course on finance you can manage your maintain member dues, which is also in the admin section and in that video, as well as other fees. So you can all do that from the finance. That ends the finance. To get out of the finance, you just simply again do the close menu. Then that ends this segment. Thank you very much for watching.